Oh, one thing a girl gonna do is duck accountability. Like, real shit. How the fuck they'll do some shit, get you to react, and then make your reaction the issue? So now they ain't gotta be accountable. Nah, bitch, you was never accountable in the first motherfucking place. And now my reaction went to hell. So now that's the issue. And now you said and all this and that and acting like me going to hell was the issue. No, bitch, I'm really mad already. Like, you already did something. I'm just responding. And you tricked me out my fucking spot. Technically, you tricked me out my spot, because when you be being calm, they want you to get that reaction so that now the accountability don't got to be taken for what the real problem is. And now I feel bad. Now I'm out here feeling bad and sorry for you and about to bring you food to work and all that. Like, how the fuck did I get here when I'm mad about something already? Like, bitches is tricky, bro. Like, they will really trick you out your spot, yo. Yo, stay up. Like, be alert. Until you do right by me, everything you touch gonna turn to sand.
WLWT News 5, leading the way with breaking news.
That breaking news, Cincinnati police have made an arrest in that deadly shooting overnight in Walnut Hills.
Officers naming the suspect just in the last 15 minutes. Police say 31-year-old Jasmine Blake shot and killed 33-year-old Diamond Rice. Now, court records show the shooting allegedly happened during an argument on May Street at around 10 last night. Blake is charged with murder. She'll be arraigned on that charge at 9 o'clock this morning and will be in court to let you know what happens.
It was just after 10 p.m. on February 1st, 2026. The streets of Walnut Hills, Cincinnati were quiet. Most people were already home. Doors locked, lights dimmed, the night winding down like any other Sunday. Then a single gunshot broke the silence. Cincinnati police rushed to the 2300 block of May Street. What they found stopped them cold. A 33-year-old woman is lying on the ground with a gunshot wound. First responders worked fast, but it was too late. She was pronounced dead right there on that street. What made this case different from the hundreds of other homicides that year wasn't just how she died. It was the person who pulled the trigger, and it was what happened just hours before. When this woman picked up the phone and called her father, she told him about a disagreement. He gave her advice. They said goodbye, and he never heard her voice again. She had survived some of the toughest streets in Baltimore. She had rebuilt her life from the ground up. She had dedicated every single day to saving others. So how does a woman like that end up shot dead by the one person she loved and trusted most? Stay with us, because this story will shake you to your core. Welcome to Homicide Exposed, the channel where we tell the stories that need to be told. The ones that don't make the front page long enough. The ones where real people with real lives deserve more than just a headline. Today's story is one of those. If you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a case. And drop a comment below telling us what state or country you're watching from. You'd be surprised how many people from all over the world tune into this channel every single week. Now, before we get into what happened on that street in Cincinnati, you need to understand who Diamond Rice really was. Because once you know her story, what she overcame, what she built, and what she was still working toward, this case is going to hit very differently. Let's go back to the beginning. Diamond Rice was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, a city that is as tough as it is beautiful. Growing up wasn't easy for her. Baltimore's streets don't go easy on anyone, and Diamond was no exception. She faced challenges early in life that would have broken a lot of people. Her mother, Wanda Salmons, described her daughter's younger years as troubled. But even through all of that, even through the hard times and the wrong turns, there was always something different about Diamond, something that refused to give up. Her father, Scotty B., saw it clearly. He described his daughter in 3 simple words: very strong, very beautiful, resilient. And he meant every word. Her mother put it another way. She called Diamond everybody's sunshine on a cloudy day. Not just a saying, a lived reality. Diamond was the kind of person who walked into a room and made it feel lighter. The kind of person people leaned on when life got heavy. But here's what makes Diamond's story truly remarkable. At some point during her troubled youth, Diamond was connected with youth advocate programs, known as YAP. YAP is a national nonprofit that works with at-risk young people, in offering them real support as an alternative to incarceration or being removed from their homes and communities. For Diamond, YAP wasn't just a program, it was a lifeline. It changed the way she saw herself. It changed the direction of her life. And when she came out the other side, she didn't just walk away and move on. She turned around and went back to help the next person coming up behind her, from someone who needed saving to someone doing the saving. Her mother said it best. Who wouldn't be proud of somebody who does that? Who wants to help somebody else when she's the one who knows how to help them? That was Diamond Rice, not a statistic, not just a victim, a real woman with a real story who fought hard for everything she had, and she was just getting started. About a year before her death, Diamond Rice made a bold decision. She packed up her life in Baltimore and moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, a new city, a fresh start, and a bigger platform to do the work she loved. She landed a role as assistant director of YAP Hamilton County, the same organization that had once helped pull her out of a dark place. Now she was one of the people running it, leading it, shaping it. But Diamond wasn't done growing. She enrolled at Northern Kentucky University, working toward a Bachelor of Science in Social Work. And she didn't just show up. She excelled. Diamond earned a spot on the President's Honors List, proving that the girl who once struggled on Baltimore streets could hold her own in any room at any level. In November 2024, she represented YAP at a national panel hosted by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention in Washington. She stood in front of a national audience and shared her personal story, from at-risk youth to youth advocate. The same story that once felt like a burden had become her greatest strength. NKU President Katie Short Thompson called her a very bright light. YAP Hamilton County Director Nate Lett said Diamond was a powerful force who would be sorely missed nationally. And on top of all of that, Diamond had dreams beyond advocacy. She wanted to become an author. She wanted to put her story into words and hand it to the world. She had so much left to give, which makes what happened next almost impossible to accept. In Cincinnati, Diamond Rice was in a romantic relationship with a woman named Jasmine Blake. Jasmine was 31 years old, and on the surface, there was nothing about this relationship that screamed danger. The two families even knew each other. Diamond's mother, Wanda Summons, personally knew Jasmine's mother. This wasn't a stranger. This wasn't someone who came out of nowhere. This was someone Diamond trusted completely. But relationships are not always what they look like from the outside. At some point, tension began to build between the two women. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet friction that Diamond apparently felt, but didn't treat as an emergency. Then came the evening of February 1st, 2026. At 8:30 p.m., Diamond picked up the phone and called her father, Scotty B. She told him she and Jasmine were having a disagreement. She kept it casual. She didn't sound alarmed. To her, it was just a rough patch, something that would blow over. Her father listened, and then he said something that, looking back, feels like a warning neither of them fully understood in that moment. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, Diamond. So whatever it is, just fix it, Diamond reassured him. They talked a little while longer. Then they said goodbye. It was the last conversation they would ever have. After that phone call ended, the night should have been quiet. It wasn't. Whatever disagreement Diamond and Jasmine had been having, it didn't get fixed. It didn't cool down. It didn't blow over. Instead, it kept building. And somewhere between that 8:30 p.m. phone call and what came next, something went terribly, irreversibly wrong. Shortly after 10 p.m., on the 2300 block of May Street near Burbank in Cincinnati's Walnut Hills neighborhood, a gunshot rang out. Neighbors heard it. The street felt it. Cincinnati police responded immediately. When they arrived, they found Diamond Rice on the ground, suffering from a gunshot wound. First responders rushed to help her. They did everything they could right there on that street to save her life. It wasn't enough. Diamond Rice was pronounced dead at the scene. She was 33 years old, just hours after telling her father about a disagreement. Just hours after he told her to fix it. Just hours after she said goodbye, not knowing it was forever. Police didn't have to search far for a suspect. Jasmine Blake was arrested at the scene. The woman Diamond had been in a relationship with. The woman whose mother Diamond's own mother knew personally. When the woman Diamond had called her partner, she was taken into custody and charged with murder. Court records confirmed what investigators found at the scene. The shooting had followed an argument between the two women, a disagreement that started with words and ended with a bullet. The Walnut Hills neighborhood went quiet again after that, but the silence felt different now, heavier, the kind that settles in after something happens that can never be undone. Diamond Rice had walked into that night as a student, an advocate, a daughter, and a partner. She didn't walk out. I need to stop here for a second, because Diamond Rice was not just a name in a news report. She was a real woman who fought hard to build a real life, and it was taken from her in an instant. If this story is hitting you the way it's hitting me right now, drop a comment below. Have you or someone you know ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have? Let's talk about it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We're just getting started. 2 days after Diamond Rice was killed, Jasmine Blake stood before a judge. It was Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Blake's first court appearance since her arrest on the night of the shooting. She was ordered to be held at the Hamilton County Justice Center on a $750,000 bond. Then her defense attorney spoke. The argument? Self-defense. According to Blake's legal team, it was Diamond who was the aggressor that night. They claimed Blake had been attacked, and that the shooting was an act of protection, not murder. It was a bold claim, but prosecutors pushed back hard. When police arrived at the scene on May Street, they searched for evidence. And here is what they found on Diamond Rice. No weapon. Nothing that suggested she was armed. Nothing that suggested she posed a deadly threat to anyone that night. Think about that. A self-defense claim requires a real, credible threat. And according to the prosecution, the evidence simply did not support that story. So on one side, you have a defense attorney saying Blake was protecting herself. On the other side, you have prosecutors pointing to a woman who was shot dead with no weapon on her. The case is still ongoing. A courtroom will eventually have to decide what really happened on May Street that night. But the facts as they stand tell a very specific story. Back in Baltimore, a city was grieving the Saturday after Diamond's death. Nearly 100 people gathered outside New Shiloh Apostolic Temple on Hartford Road. The weather was cold, but that didn't stop them. They came anyway. Friends, community members, people whose lives Diamond had touched in ways big and small. They came to say goodbye to their sunshine. Scotty B stood among them, a father trying to hold himself together in front of everyone while falling apart on the inside. He spoke quietly, honestly, and with the kind of pain that only a parent who has lost a child can truly understand. It's going to start to really sink in, he said, that I ain't ever going to talk to her no more. There are no words that follow something like that. Diamond's mother, Wanda Summons, was also searching, not just for comfort, but for answers. She reached out to Jasmine Blake's mother directly, someone she personally knew, someone she thought might pick up the phone. There was no response. I just want answers from Jasmine, Wanda said. Why did she do this to my daughter? That question still hangs in the air, unanswered. Diamond Rice spent her entire career protecting people from harm, so it feels right, necessary even, to let her story do the same thing one last time. Because there are lessons here, real ones. And if even one person watching this takes them seriously, then Diamond's story will have saved another life. First, when someone you love mentions a disagreement with their partner, don't brush it off. Diamond told her father about the argument that same night. That kind of disclosure is not small talk. It is a cry for help, even when it doesn't sound like one. Take it seriously. Second, pay attention to timing. That phone call happened at 8:30 p.m. Less than 2 hours later, Diamond was gone. Danger in relationships can move fast. Don't wait for things to escalate before you act. Third, be aware of how stories get flipped. In court, Blake's defense claimed self-defense, but Diamond had no weapon. In many abuse cases, the aggressor tries to reframe themselves as the victim. Know that pattern. Question it. Fourth, the fact that both families knew each other didn't prevent this tragedy, but community closeness can create opportunities for early conversations. Use those connections before a crisis, not after. Fifth, when firearms are present in a volatile relationship, the risk of a fatal outcome rises dramatically. Red flag laws exist for a reason. Use them. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous relationship, please reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to wait until it's too late. Diamond Rice started life as a young girl whom the system almost gave up on. She became a woman who refused to give up on anyone else. She went from needing YAP to leading it, from surviving Baltimore's toughest streets to standing on a national stage in Washington, from a troubled past to a president's honors list. She was working toward her degree. She had a book inside her waiting to be written. She had hundreds more young people whose lives she hadn't yet changed. She was everybody's sunshine on a cloudy day. And on February 1st, 2026, that sunshine was taken, not by a stranger, not by the streets she had already survived, but by someone she loved. And that is the part that stays with you. So here is the question I want to leave you with. How well do we really know the people closest to us? Diamond Rice deserved to finish her degree, publish her book, and change 1,000 more lives. Share this video so her story reaches someone who needs to hear it. A friend, a family member, someone who might be in a situation right now that they haven't told anyone about. And if you haven't subscribed to Homicide Exposed yet, do it now. Because on this channel, we don't let these stories disappear. Diamond Rice will not be forgotten.